Okay.
We are now live streaming on Facebook. Hello, everybody. This is Penda James.
Hey, Penda James.
I am live today with my sister friend, ASlate. I call her by many names, so I might slip up and call her her government name, which she doesn't like, but I want to introduce you to someone who is a part of my creative village. She is a poetess. She lives right next door to Paul Lawrence Dunbar's house. So she lives on sacred ground. She lives across the street from my daddy, so that is even more special to me because she can keep an eye on the wonderful who thinks that you're trying to be slick and do stuff. I see you out there, wonderful. I got eyes everywhere. I also know that ASlate is someone who is teaching me how to go back to the beginning of my creativity. When I sit at her feet and listen to how she pours out her heart before God and how she strings her words together, it inspires me to keep writing because I'm a poetess too. I've done spoken word too, and I miss being on the stage. So, ASlate, can you please share with our viewers? And if you are watching us, please let us know in the comments who you are, where you watching from, and put hashtag I'm a clean slate so we can know that you're here. Is there something that she is the mother of Grace. Yeah, so tell us something about you that I didn't say that you want us to know.
What she didn't say that I want you all to know is that I am a servant for the Most High God. I do not string any words together. God is just gracing me with the ability to be able to do so. And I am thankful to be here and extremely nervous. So I'm not going to keep talking because I'll start rambling. I always have to give honor to the Most High God and to my teacher, my bishop, Joel C. Lofton. So I'm going to do that because I'd be remiss if I did not. Yeah, I'm extremely happy. So I'm not going to ramble too much because I think I talk better through poem. So
I ain't asked you that yet.
Can I do that? Okay. So can I stop?
So then let me ask my first question then.
Okay, we're going to ask a question.
Okay, my first question for you is, what does it mean to be a clean slate?
Ooh, I love that. A lot of times I get asked, why do I use the name ASlate? And a big part of why I use the name ASlate is because every day that God, every moment that God puts breath in my body, I feel like I'm erased and made new. So a clean slate is to be erased and made new. And it has a double meaning for me because for years, we're not going to say years, we're going to be honest, for decades, I battled with alcoholism, and I am walking into my third year of sobriety. On December the 19th, 2020 will be my third year of sobriety. So I'm all the way clean slate. So that's what that means.
Okay, now you can do your piece. So what does it mean to be clean slate? Oh, you don't have it ready?
I'm ready. Okay. They said don't get prepared. Always be ready. Be ready. So yeah.
So what does it mean to be a clean slate?
So there lives a pressurized cooker inside of me, a volcanic explosion of words bubbling. I am about to spill over through poetry. See, the molten lava had been hardened by time. Biblically expressive, he turned my 40 water to spiritual wine. My right hand was trembling before my left thoughts. See, I needed to recourse the path that Moses once walked. Mnemonically, I recall an era in which dreams talk. An organized network of rhyme, drowning in a sea of serpents and lime. Eve was reeled in and Adam eventually bit the bait. Only after they were exposed came red paint at the gates. I've become bulimic, purging words out of the orifice called my mouth. I desire all of heaven since I'm reluctant to relocate south. Roaring, rushing waters crash, throwing me just above the dirt. No magic genie paint me blue like infinite skies, not pain or hurt. Romans 10, verses 11 through 13 says, God is God of all, no superiority. Anyone who confesses of their mouth shall be saved. See, he didn't have to snatch me from the fire, throw me back into the kiln just to remold me. And for that, Lord, I will behold thee. I will, I will go and tell it on the mountains, those shape-shifting masses of heavenly creation, freedom bound. This is elevation. Fractured in the storm, I began to chant the Lord's Prayer, frantically send him back to me. See, I rely on the evil slayer. See, if he is like a goddess, and I must be like a goddess in a toga, and he is the Roman god of yoga, that's why my skull contorts like yoga. I had to take some time, rewind, and have the Lord come back to me. Maybe I spent too much time always writing down my wrongs. I shall now live to tell of all of God's love through poem. And this is what it means to be a clean slate. Yee.
I can't. You changed it since the last time.
We don't know what's gonna happen.
You added.
I said, thank you, God, for second chances.
That was.
Today, I am just really just resting in the feeling. I'm just so giddy today. I just feel so much love and so much peace. And I'm just so excited. Like, I don't know what's about to happen, but I know it's going to be big. And God is all over it. So I'm just so excited. So please forgive me.
I don't need to forgive you for being excited and having, because the joy of the Lord is your strength. So yes. I'm grateful that I know this is not something that you typically would do, so thank you for having this intimate conversation with me. Don't think about it as people are watching this. Just think about it as us sisters having a conversation, because we've had some really, really life-changing moments together. I can think back to when you mentioned about living with alcohol as a part of your life. And I remember you calling me sometimes when I'm living in Pittsburgh, and you would be talking to me. I'm not even there, but you would be talking to me, and I would just say, you are the book.
Yes, you are the book. Remember that. I remember that. I remember that. So
I'm just really grateful. I'm grateful for our relationship and for how you have, helped me to get through some, the tough time of losing my mom. My mom was important to you too. So yes. I want you, if you don't mind, for the people who are watching us, to please talk about how being a clean slate has been a thread throughout your life.
I didn't even know, first of all, that I was a slate. I didn't know. I had been told throughout my life that I was sick, that I was crazy, that I was insane, that I had schizophrenia and all these things. And I didn't know that God was just speaking to me, constantly speaking to me. And then how it became a thread. Like, I come from, you know how people say generational curses. It was a lot of bad stuff. I had a generational curse of bad choices, but also immense favor. I mean, there was so much favor in our life. And then the way it was a thread was because I found out that I had to go through all this stuff. I thought it was the cord that was choking the life out of me, but it actually was the cord that I now pull to pull me through, to gain strength from. I had to go through all that to get to this space of grace. So the way being a slate for God and becoming a clean slate, that thread, that's what saved my life. That's what saved my life. And now I see that it in turn could very well save some of my family members' life, because they can see, and then they can reach out and grab that lifeline as well.
So I got to go back, because you said being a clean slate for God and being a clean slate. Say it again.
Being a slate for God and becoming a clean slate.
Being a slate for God and becoming a clean slate. So what that just did in me says when he called you a slate.
Glory be. Yeah, yeah. Glory be to God.
Things were written on you. You had to become clean.
You right there. Exactly. Exactly. Thank you,
So
Most High
now
God.
you're a clean slate, rewriting the book.
Oh God, yes. Retelling the story that he's gifted me with. I'm retelling the story that he's
That's
gifted
good
me with.
stuff.
And it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. I'm just so grateful.
You have, and I know we've talked about this, and if your bishop watches this, I want him to hear me say this, so he knows that his prayers are also, my prayers are in line with his prayers too, that you have such a unique ministry, and you're not called to, you know, just be sitting in the church or just up on the stage during chicken dinner day, you know, I'm gonna do my poem, y'all. You know, that's not who you are. You are called to the hurting woman, because on our street, well, on my daddy's street, our street, your street, there are streetwalkers, and there are hurting women all around you. You hear their cries.
Yeah, yeah.
And so you're called to them, and you speak to them in a language that only y'all can understand. And in that language, you bring them out. So you're bringing them back to God. So throughout your life, there's grace. That was perfect timing, wasn't it?
It happens like that.
Throughout your time, there was grace. So was there something else you wanted to say about the thread in your life of being a clean slate?
I think we covered it. And I just agree with you. And then there was grace. Because when I heard the song, I think it's by William McDowell, and he says a line in there. He said, "There's a grace on my life to release the glory of God." And it's like all the stuff I should be dead. When people say I should be dead, sleeping in my grave, I'm sure your dad has told you stories. I should be dead. I should be dead, and I am not. I'm talking about and had a gun to my head. I've just been in situations, been choked and left for dead when I couldn't drive, left somewhere, you know, all these things. I've been in terrible situations. I've been promiscuous. I've been an alcoholic. I've been violent. I've been everything less than what you would think God could love. And he still loved me. And he still held me. And he still said, I tell you what, all this dirt and hurt and pain, I'll wash that away. I'll wash that away. I'll wash it away. And I'm still gonna use you. I'm still gonna use you.
But Grace is holding the pen though.
Wasn't she?
So when we talk about rewriting on the
just keep writing on my heart.
Grace is rewriting. Girl.
The other day she was typing on the computer, like, come on, God.
Oh my gosh. But the symbolism of Grace is now holding the pen.
I like that. And that is really,
I know her.
That's really
that's not her. That's what we call her, but that's not her first name. But Grace is holding the pen. That to me is so. I see you, girl.
But that is true, because what you're saying is what happened from all that muck. Because even in Murky Waters, as the poem, you're looking for that part in the poem that we did earlier. Even in Murky Waters, there's still something beneath growing. That was one part I didn't say in the poem. They say ignorance is bliss, but I'd like to be the knowing, because even in Murky Waters, there's something beneath growing. And all that I went through, and all that people saw, that part of me they saw, there was still some grace in me. You know, that some grace came out of that. I'm amazed how people respond and approach me now. I'm still in awe of what God has done. It's like, you want to talk to me? Like, you like being around me? Like, it's like, God, look at you showing out.
I mean, you look completely different.
That's what God does.
That's what God does.
That's how you that's what a clean slate look like. That's what God does. When he take all that hurt off of you, when he take all that pain away from you, and I'm still going through. Trust, I'm still going through right now. But when you know you're going through it with God, come on.
Nobody can't tell you nothing.
Can't tell me nothing.
Can't tell you nothing. So my next question is how, or not how, what do you want people to know about what it means to be a clean slate?
I want them to know that I have it in another poem. I have it in another poem. If y'all get to read the book, Lifelines and Legacies, that Lady Penn helped me pen, supporting me in penning. There's poems all throughout there that will say it, but it says like God makes something out of nothing. I want you to know God makes something out of nothing, and I believe it's is it in Ecclesiastes? God makes all things new. He makes all things beautiful in time. And that song, you make all things new. He makes all things new. I'm not talking about just you. I'm talking about if you was in debt, honey, your credit can be clear. He makes all things new. If you was depressed, he can bring you joy. He makes all things new. If your refrigerator was empty, it can be full. If you were skinny, you can gain some weight. He makes all things new. All things new. Bad relationships, he makes all things new. All of them. Yes. And
Wow.
I would just want you to know that he never counts you out. God chose you before you even was put in your mother's womb. God chose you to be here. He already predestined your life. He knows the plans he has for you. And I know what I'm saying sounds like just a repeated scripture. I don't have enough time to tell you here. All I can say is what they used to say to me, and I didn't believe it. Try him for yourself. I'm telling you, try him for yourself. Taste and see that the Lord is good. Campbell's ain't got nothing on me. That's what I want them to know.
So, I mean, that was my last question, but I mean, my last scripted question. But I want to know, because we do work together on a lot of your creative projects. So I want to just shift the conversation a little bit to being a slate for God. And so I want you to kind of talk about your creative process. And so I'm going to use the tree that's behind you. Your brain is like that tree with all them leaves. And so the way that you're sitting, when you come back and look at this, I want you to see how the leaves are like literally coming out of your head when you sit there, right? That's all the ideas and stuff.
It's still a tree. Even the book is a tree. There's a tree on the book. And this morning is the one spirit. Thank you, God. And this morning I posted something about a tree because I just was sitting there and God was just like talking to me. And I had this come to me and said, trees grow up. They grow up. But then one of my favorite trees is a weeping willow. It grows, looks like it's growing down. But the thing about it, it still has value, even hanging down, because if it's too hot, you're not going to get burned by the sun, by the heat that's coming to you. You won't get burned if you just rest in that shadow, in that shade, under that weeping willow tree. Like, it all has value, but I love trees.
I have a story about a weeping willow. When I first met my husband's family, I met everybody that was important to him within a week.
Wow.
And he took me, I mean, I guess he was like, if she ain't the one, I ain't gonna mess with it. So he took me down to Georgetown, South Carolina, where his grandmother and grandfather have land. Well, his grandfather has passed. And I remember going out and just, walking around. Like, I guess I was waiting on them to get in the car or something. Mm-hmm. And she has a really beautiful weeping willow tree. And I remember standing under that tree and literally weeping. And I don't know, it was just something about the covering of the leaves and like the foundation of the trunk that I was leaning on, the roots that I was standing on, and just sobbing there. And every time I go down to Georgetown to visit Nana, I stand under that tree and I have the same reaction every single time. And that was 20 years ago.
It sounds like you standing under the presence of God. You said the roots, the trunk, the tree, you done stood on the word, the foundation, his covering, the blood. Come on now. It sounds like he was in the presence of God.
It does. So when you talk about trees, that resonates with me too. So can you, just in closing, I want you to tell, everybody how to find you, and, if they want to purchase your books, because you have lots of books and lots of projects, but I want you to end talking to the creative person. And I want you to share with the creative person how to balance all the leaves in their mind.
Balance. I can't
Or
tell you.
what's a better word? What's a better word for balance? How to compartmentalize, how to pay attention to, I don't know, prioritize,
I
whatever.
know. I don't know the word for it, but what I've done creatively, I had taken all these because God fills you up with so many ideas sometimes, and I want to do them all. But just pray over the process, and let Him lead you to which one to do. Because 9 times out of 10, if you got all these ideas, it's His great ideas, and you're going to complete them. My basement wall is covered with ideas, and I knocked them all out. He gave me the ability to knock them all out that year when it was that season. But don't if he gives you an idea, no matter how strange, no matter how outlandish, and nobody else is doing it, do it anyway, because it's only one you. He created you uniquely. It's something that I heard it somewhere. Somebody said there's something that needs to be done that only you can do, only you can create. Somebody else may do something similar, but it won't be the way that you do it. Just be brave, step out with faith, have courage, and trust the Most High God. Ask Him in prayer to gift you with your purpose, and tell you what the idea is, and make it happen. So I thought I had an idea for a book recently, and He said, no, we're going to do it this way. And I look at it now, blew me away.
Well, thank you, ASlate. And I want to thank all of you who are watching us now. And if you are unfamiliar with who I am, my name is Penda L. James, Penda Lynn James, and I'm a scribe coach. What I do is I assist people to get unstuck, execute their goals, and inscribe their legacy. I work with ASlate on her books, but beyond that, we are friends, we are sisters, we have a relationship outside of our business connection. And this that you are watching is called the Resilience Project. This is an opportunity for me to introduce my friends to my friends so that we can all do great work in the kingdom. And in addition to that, we need to remember the tools when we forget that we're resilient, when we are resilient and get tired, and when we need support. These are the tools, these are the declarations, the scriptures, the things that we need to put in our tool bank. So when we hit that wall, we can break right through it. And so I have introduced you tonight to ASlate. And our declaration for tonight is, I am a clean slate. Get your journal and write it in your journal. And remember that I am a clean slate. 1 Corinthians 5:17. If any man be in Christ, he's a new creation.
New
All
creation.
things are passed away, and behold, all things become new. And with that, we say thank you. Thank you for watching. I love you.
I love you. Say good night.